It's been a while now since I wanted to get back into Necropolis. I think as all things go in a hobby, sometimes you have like ebbs and flows, what you want to do, what you like, what you are excited about. Right now, at that moment, it's again Necropolis. But what exactly is Necropolis? I basically describe it like a younger sibling or maybe the offspring of Mordheim. And if you like Mordheim, I think this game could be very, very exciting for you. I think in my mind it has a similar vibe, though I cannot really speak from a point of authority here because I never really played Mordheim. I only have the idea of how the vibe is and how the world works in that particular game. And Necropolis is, at least for my interpretation of Mordheim, pretty similar. Now what you need for this game is of course a warband, and this is called a gathering. In this game you have obols. Obols are like a magical currency, and this magical currency you can find in games. You can find them after games when you are playing like a campaign, and with that you can of course buy your miniatures, you can buy equipment, you can buy like little items that you can only use once. And in the beginning you receive 300 of those, and with that you basically buy your warband. Now I wanted to do something rather drastic, because normally when you build your warband you want to go with either a lich or a revenant as your leader, because both cost 0 obols. That makes you way more effective in building your warband with the minions. However, you can also choose an Ascended Undead. That Ascended Undead is basically a Lich and a Revenant put together in the blender, and after that a very, very powerful singular being emerges. Thing is, it is powerful, but it's not very, very good for the overall cost itself. But this idea of a huge hulking monster running around killing everything is, well, it's also a very, very attractive idea, let's say it like that. But the thing is, I still wanted at least one little unit, and that is the Familiar. The Familiar is like a little mana collector in this game, which comes very, very handy because only Familiars and leaders can collect mana. All the other units cannot do that, and you really need that mana to, well, cast spells and be a bit more effective. And as this Ascended Undead is already a little bit, let's just say, it's very capable, but on its own it's probably going to die pretty fast, so I need a little bit of flexibility there. Basically we have an Ascended Undead and a Familiar. Now this is going to be my Ascended Undead. I had to cover some parts up because I'm not quite sure on how the algorithm is going to treat the more exposed part, and I'm not eager to find out what would happen if I simply show you completely, well, undressed, but I think you're still getting an idea about this thing. This model is made by Anna from the Guns of Hecate blog, and you should definitely check out her stuff. I mean, she is one of the big ones in the 28mm indie scene. Her sculpting and miniature work is very, very inspiring, and her blog also has like a few tutorials that are really, really helpful if you really want to get into the more grimdark looking stuff. So definitely check that out. I mean, I even have, I can show you something actually. I do have a little art book from her stuff. I mean, look at that. Or what else we have? This is beautiful. Very, oh. Look at this. Isn't that inspiring? I mean, come on. I also like the color palette of her stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's muted, but you can read the miniatures easily. That is really, really great stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend the series in general. And if you only have money for one book, I definitely recommend the one from Anna. So yeah, check it out. And for the Familiar, I don't have a model. Now, when I made my gathering, I used an app And with this app, you can basically customize your warband, your gathering. And you can see my gathering is basically made out of 2 models. First, the Queen of the Hands. This is like a little wordplay on the special rule Chosen of the Hands. And of course, a queen also needs a hand, so we have the hand of the queen. So yeah. Now for the hand of the queen, I was thinking, how about we make an actual hand? The problem is I don't have fitting bits. I don't have like a hand that is big enough. I have this idea in my head that you have the base and like a piece of rock on that base. This is the rock, for example, and the hand is like sitting on top like that. So I think the best idea is to go with sculpting on that. So yeah, let's try this out. We have our base. I think for the next thing we can start with the armature. Basically you take a bit of wire and make a little miniature skeleton, and with that skeleton you can put on like layers and layers of green stuff and maybe even a bit of aluminum foil to bulk out the shape. Something like that. Now I think I will use a bit of aluminum foil to bulk up the shape a little bit. Something like that. Yeah. All right. I think we can work with that. Now let's get on some milliput. I was so enraptured with making the hand that I didn't realize that it's way too big for this small 25mm base. Yeah, I think we have to restart this. And for that, I think I will build the armature on the base directly. I think this is the best idea. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I think instead of using aluminum foil, I will use a bit of milliput to give this thing a bit of mass. And I think when we are done with that, more or less, we can mix up some green stuff and milliput together. Someone wise once said it's always wise to mix like teeny tiny bits of green stuff, work with that, wait for that to cure and then go to the next step. Because if you have too much green stuff either mixed up or even try to work onto the model, it can get really messy very, very quickly. And I think in that build it kind of happened to me. So yeah, make small steps, especially if you're new to this stuff. Even if you have like a bigger project and you want to do a lot in a very short amount of time, but in the end, the finished product probably won't be as good as you might want. So something I find very, very helpful, especially in sculpting, is sprue glue. Sprue glue is like molten sprue inside a glass of plastic cement. And this stuff is really, really nice when you want to smooth out surfaces and you maybe want to cover up small mistakes. especially with green stuff sculpting, sometimes you have like weird little bumps where the layers connect and you cannot really smooth them over very well. So you can use that stuff to cover that up a little bit. It may be a bit of cheating, but there is no hobby police, so I think I can simply do that. So I am here at my bits box because I want to add a little face to my hand. I know it sounds weird. And for that, I'm going to use, something like that. This oak face, I think it's from Cromlech or maybe Spellcrow, I'm not quite sure. But you can see it has on the lower jaw like these two tusks. Now, if we would take this and turn it around, and maybe I can also hide the face and the little sprue. Look at that. I think this could work. Let's try it out. All right, here we have it. Look at this guy. I mean, it's a bit weird because when you look from here, it looks like a hand. And if you look from the other side, it really looks like something else entirely. More like really like a little messed up dog or something like that. It's a very weird experience.